Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Halal Yahweh Bashamal Shai, Bahasham Kahakadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than never. The would-be judges, the tabernacle of David, right? The Israelites, 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, the 144,000 judges, the new government to be set up for heaven here on earth, or on earth as it is in heaven, on earth as it is in heaven, on earth as it is in heaven. The kingdom of heaven will be here on earth. Its government will be ruled over by Yahweh Shai, who the world falsely and fraudulently called JC. And his operating government will be the 12 tribes of Israel, headed by King David, proving the reincarnation, the regeneration. Right? King David will sit on the throne again. Right? And they will govern the whole world, and the whole world will be forced and happy to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible, not the Talmud. Right? These people are frauds, and what you're looking at is their original home. Okay? These people claiming to be the people of the Lord. And the rest of the people of the Lord, the scattered elect, right, that are scattered among the Gentile nations, that have the appearance of the Gentile nations, which the Lord is going to retrieve them from among those nations. All right, and the few Akwaf, meaning sisters, that are listening and learning to you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And this is one of those things when their pride have deceived thee. This is one of those videos that should never have been made. When Esau Edom put up the origins of his home and changed the name and tried to clean up the bones and the wickedness of what he used to do. Well, I'm going to come with some, we already know that Mount Seir, it is actual Petra, was written in the Bible, but I'm going to come with some pretty condemning receipts to more than prove that. All right. So this is and before, you know what, let me read the Copyright Act, because they'll look for any excuse. So let's read the copyright statute before I go any further. All right, because you're going to look at these receipts and you would think that you were in Greece. You would think that you were looking at Alexander, in Eurasia or Western Asia, as it actually is. We'll show you a receipt on that as well. But the fact you're actually looking at Mount Seir, the original home, the original mountain home caves where Esau Edom, the people from the Caucasus of Ka, this is their true mountain home. All right. The Caucasus of Ka, these Caucasians, that was their second mountainous caves home. This is the original. Okay. Because what the story that they don't tell in their fraudulent, watered down, whitewashed history is they don't tell you that they were forced into the Caucasus Mountains by the melanated people that had actually taken over Rome when Esau fell, when he lost his power and he went under bottom for 1,000 years. Okay. I posted a couple videos from the beloved brother Shatya yesterday, where he was over in Europe showing you all the receipts and all the imagery of the black icons, should I say the brown ones, of the Israelites, the Moors. Moors were Israelites that followed Islam. They were still Israelites by blood, by flesh, that ruled all of Europe. Okay, you can reference back to Ben Franklin's letter from 1751 that pretty much proves that beyond a shadow of a doubt. When we tell you that you are not the Scots, you are not the Irish, you are not the Brits, you're definitely not the Anglo-Saxons, you are not the Vikings, you are not the Spartans, and you surely are not the Israelites. Okay? It's going to come to a point where people are going to have to stop ignoring the receipts, like these filthy, wicked courts that keep evidence from out of the court, so the truth, so that justice can't be prevailed. A perfect example, the Epstein files. This is how Esau Edom operates. Okay? But this is the copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All right, so the copyright statute has been declared. So I'm going to go ahead and let this play in the background because it's the imagery of Esau Edom, the self-proclaimed so-called white man's original home. All right. So there'll probably be some commercials, when I'm looking down and reading, it'll pop up. So I'll try to click them off as quickly as possible. But what they're not showing you up close is that there are eagles, 4 eagles at the top of that. So let's start with Obadiah. Okay, and then I'm going to give you some history about those eagles right out the gate. Okay. But this is Obadiah 1:1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord, power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador is sent from among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. And we believe that ambassador originally was Abdul-Gabal Nasser, which this has pretty much been, look at that commercial already. These pieces of, wow. Okay. And here he is. And they pretty much scrubbed the internet of this. It's hard to find this anymore. It's like they made it not even exist. But you can screenshot it if you don't have it. Let's put it into focus. There it is. And it reads, Gabal Abdul Nasser, second president of the United Arab Republic, formerly president of the Republic of Egypt. It says the Europeans claiming to be Jews are nothing more than Hebrew-speaking Gentiles, the late president of Egypt. And they weren't. They were Yiddish-speaking. They used the Hebrew characters. I'll give you the definition of that and attached it to their own language. The late president of Egypt, Gamal Abdul Nasser, stated on television, you, the Jews, will never be able to live here in peace because you left here black and came back white. We cannot accept you. This was in 1952. And I actually had a gym buddy, all right, when I had my first studio on 9 Oak Wabash, the place, the owner of the gym that I rented my space from, inside his gym was from Jordan. And we watched Abdul-Gabal Nasser give this speech on YouTube. Of course, that video is scrubbed. All right, they got rid of it. But that's pretty much what he said. He let you know that these people left black and came back white. And he said, who are you people? All right. And we know exactly who they are. The Bible tells you that they're the Amalekites. They're Edomites. That the Edomites were when it, in Ezekiel 35, when they said, aha, even the high ancient places are ours. Aha, even the high ancient places are ours. Ezekiel 36:2. All right. 36:5 tells you that the Idumeans would take the high holy places, would take the ancient land, the holy land for themselves. All right, so let's go back to this Obadiah. And I'm just going to, come with these receipts hard. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thy heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, and saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And they still build high to replicate this the cave dwelling. All right, when you look at the skylines of New York, Chicago, LA, and other places around the world where Edomites live, the high-rise buildings from a distance are very similar to mountain ranges. All right, and the holes in the rocks, you know, the apartments, the condos are wow, I never noticed the first time this guy had a prosthetic leg. He must have been a soldier or something. But you know, the holes in the rock are basically the condos, the apartments, right? When you're looking at the skyline, because they like to peer out over their balconies and out their windows, same way that they did when they were in Mount Seir, their original cave home, and then when they were in the Caucasus Mountains, their second cave home. All right. So what he's doing is he taking, you know, you can go and watch this video. I'm not going to turn the sound on, so you know, to get no copyright strike, but you can go and watch this video in whole, and it pretty much breaks down to you, you know, that whole area where Mount Seir is, and how they spread out through that area. And it reads, and let's go back to the beginning. All right. Here it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, thou hast set thy nest among thou hast set thy nest among the stars, and thence will I bring thee down. And you think about it, you know, they achieve flight. They actually have their satellites up in the stars, and they're above the Israelites, who truly are the true stars of heaven. You know, they're over the Lord's elect at this point. Say, if these come to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would thou not leave some grapes? Because Esau wants more. When he has everything, he still wants more. Covetous. All right, which brings to mind this scripture. This is Mark 7:22. Thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, and evil eye, blasphemy, pride, and foolishness. No one has that greater than the Edomites. Okay? No one. All right? All these things come from within and defile the man. And so, you know, Esau, who's more defiled than Esau? All right, so much to where he can't even pray. He can't return to the Lord. He's cut off. When the Lord said he put by Esau, he took Jacob and put by Esau. Esau can't even pray if he wanted to. All right, this is Sirach. The book of Sirach 10 and 13. And it reads, pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination, and therefore the Lord have brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly, and Esau is overthrowing himself. The Lord is using Esau to destroy himself. And look at his policy and what he's done. You know, look at what Trump, look what Biden did, look what Trump did, look what they're, you know, they keep destroying themselves through their own policy, through their covetousness, through their wickedness. All right. And as you can see, the way that this building is carved into the rocks, that Esau, Edom still builds that way to this day. This is also how you know that he didn't build the castles of unhewn stone all throughout Europe and North Africa. All the forts and castles, those were built by people of color. You know, it was the Israelites that built up places like Florence, you know, and places in Portugal and all these cities that people love to go travel to. Those castles in Slovenia and Romania and all those places. It was neat in Germany that were built with unhewn stone, uncut. This is the way the Esau Edom built. That's why here in America, all right, and then in the parts of Europe after the Renaissance, you begin to see this sort of building again. That's another way you can tell who's in rulership, by the way they build. Because most of the older structures here in America include some of the gray stones and brown stones. Their libraries, their federal buildings, their courthouses were all built in this same manner. Look at the Lincoln Monument. Esau was in rulership. So let's get to these receipts now. Let's just go with it. And first, I'm gonna read some that you're familiar with. Then I'm gonna hit you with the most critical ones that I actually got yesterday. And this is a Chat GPT conversation. And it reads, and I'm gonna read it and then put it up to the camera so someone can screenshot it. But it says, Chat GPT, what is the major skin color of the people who rule the world? Referring to Job 9:24, when it says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. This is why they're in rulership, not because of their own achievements. The Lord put them into rulership just so he could bring them down. All right, and as punishment to the actual Israelites, to let these low-level nobodies rise up and rule the whole world. That was punishment to the Lord's chosen for disobeying him. It says the majority of the people in the most powerful and influential positions globally, such as heads of major government, CEOs, multinational corporations, leaders of financial institutions, have historically been and still often are white or European descent. Job 9:24. So let's put that into the screen. So you can screenshot it if you don't have it. Make it easy for you. Jake don't like to do any work. All right. On our way to the next ones. And this was one this goes back about 4 weeks ago. I asked this question and Kanashla typed it in, and this is what we came up with. And I asked, are the Israelis in the Holy Land the ancient Israelites? And this is what the AI overview said. All right, I'll read it and then I'll put it up to the camera so that you could screenshot it. No, Israelis are not the same as the biblical Israelites. Though there is direct lineage, all right, and it's true because these people that are originally from here are bloodline. These are the closest people related to the Israelites, which is the occasions of call, the Edomites. Though there's a direct lineage, Israeli is a national citizenship for the modern state of Israel, which includes many ethnic and religious groups, while Israelite refers to the ancient people who descended from Jacob and are described in the Bible. Modern Israelis, and they're described in the Bible. Well, here they go. They look like the Hamites, even though there's a difference between them. Remember, the house of Israel came to be among these people. Okay, among these people, they came to be. All right, that's King Tut and his tomb, which was recent. This is 3,000 years old. As a matter of fact, to back that up, back into those receipts. Let's back out. Let's go find this other pharaoh, which is 5,000 years old, or even older than the 3,000. I don't remember the exact, but he was dug up about 7-8 weeks ago. Okay, so clearly, B.B. Milkowski, any of the Israelis today could not have walked through this man's house among his people and not been seen. He couldn't, they couldn't. So, well, enough said. All right. And it says, back to that AI overview of the Israelis, the ancient Israelites. It says, Most modern Israelis are not the sole descendants of ancient Israelites who were a single tribal confederation during the biblical times, and the term Israelite is now considered obsolete, which completely lines up with scriptures. All right, that confederacy that came against them, tri-confederacy, the Israelites were the descendants of Jacob, who were renamed Israel and were organized into 12 tribes before forming a united kingdom. All right, because that's the fathers of many nations. Because Abraham was the father of other sons, other nations, but the ones who are counted unto the seed were the Israelites. So I'm trying to put that in a frame for you so you can screenshot it. I don't know how clear it is because of the light behind it. Whoa, and it went out on me. Hold on, Salakia. Yeah, let's make it brighter. There we go. Much better. Much better. There we go. Okay, so screenshot that. And if you can adjust it on your camera, you know how it says, how you can clear it up. Okay. Next receipt is just going to get better and better for us, worse and worse for them as the receipts continue to pour out. And then I asked this question. This was what this receipt is maybe a little over a week old, about that. But I asked the question to AI, approximately how many in thousands of the Edomites were converted to follow the law, statutes, and commandments by John Hyrcanus. And it's going to bring up the word, it's going to throw the word Judaism in there. Abraham and Isaac were not, Jays, and they definitely didn't follow Jayism. They followed the Torah. They followed the law, statutes, and commandments. That whole Jayism came from the people who converted and started something new. All right. But it says, this is from AI. No reliable historical records indicate the approximate number of Edomites converted by John Hyrcanus, who was a Levite priest from the Maccabees. Hence the reason why they wouldn't allow Mel Gibson to make the movie The Maccabees, because the Maccabees in their story reach out to the Spartans, and the Spartans are Israelites, seed of Jacob. That's going to throw a monkey wrench in the fabricated false history about them being Greeks. That proves that the Israelites were Hellenized in the Greek captivity. That's why the Spartans referred to themselves as Greek. They were those Israelite Gentiles, Israelites that were Greek-speaking, Israelites. The conversion was likely a mass assimilation rather than a carefully tallied one. Here's the breakdown of that information. So, and then, and I just screenshot the part I needed. And then I asked the question number 2 about Herod, the Great's family. And I asked, were they among those converts? And it says, yes, Herod the Great's family was from the Edomites, or Idumean population, that was forcibly converted to, which that's a lie. This part, Judaism, that's a lie. The Israelites, John Hyrcanus didn't follow Judaism. They followed the Bible. All right. He was a Levite priest. There is no other book to match with the Torah. Tells you that in Isaiah 34:16. All right. It says, were converted by the Hasmonean king, John Hyrcanus. All right. And he wasn't really considered a king. They're just adding stuff. All right. So now, that's some stuff about the Moors and the Israelites there. Okay, we'll show this just to prove when I said that about Ben Franklin. He wrote about this, about the blackness of the Germans. Okay, the Swedes, the Portuguese, the Spanish. All right, and this is a tapestry of Germany in the 14th century Strawberries, and you see Israelites in garments with fringes at the bottom with mitres on, defending their castle against the wild men, so-called white men, with clubs and sticks coming trying to attack the castle. And this was in the 14th century. You have to explain this. And then these predate even those. This is in Switzerland. All right. I mistakenly called this the Coburg Moor. It's not in Coburg. This was actually in Switzerland. All right. The brother was there to take the imagery of it. Okay. These are coats of arms of Negroes from different parts of Europe. All right. So when we tell you, yeah, we really were kings and shit. We were ruling things. And Esau Edom whitewashed this right out of history, omitted it, and didn't teach about it. So here's the killing. This is really a destruction to Esau Edom. All right, because I asked the question yesterday, when exactly was Mount Seir's name changed to Petra? And AI gave me the answer. And it's showing you Petra is in the background of the answer. Hold on, let's click back. Okay, the question is, when exactly was Mount Seir names changed to Petra? The Greek name Petra replaced the biblical name Selah or Mount Seir gradually, not at a single specific date. The change was a natural linguistic shift. And why? Because the Edomites that were there were now all over Asia, including the portion that you call the Middle East, which is Western Asia, and including the portion that you call Europe, which is also northern Western Asia. The city's Greek name, meaning rock, was one used by Hellenistic and Roman cultures that later dominated the region. The name appears in the Hebrew Bible. Of course it does. No, all right. And check this out. It says, there is no single date for the and I'm going to show both the receipts. It is code of a cultural shift alongside the Selah, the period becoming a standard name. I was trying to get the part about the eagles, about the 4 eagles. It talks about the 4 eagles on the top, and that those 4 eagles was, I forget the name, Sakana. I thought I screenshotted it. Obviously, I didn't. Damn, I might have to go in and find it again. But it said those eagles were believed in Roman cultures. Now we understand to take the Edomites into the afterlife. That's what they believed that the eagles did, which totally makes sense why they rock the eagle like that. And then, you know, when it says, when we go back to Obadiah, them that exalt themselves as the eagle. All right. Let's go back and find that. And I got to put up those receipts. Yeah, it was that's 4. Why was I reading all around it and not reading it? Obadiah 1 and 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou hast set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. And when you go to Wisdom of Solomon, you know, they believe, you know, or they taught and believed that there was no that, you know, once you passed away, that was the end. This is Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 5. For our time is a very shadow that passeth away. After our end, there is no return, for it is fast sealed, so that no man cometh again, which is a lie. And there that belief, that's why there are 4 eagles, and that's why the American flag. Every Edomite society from Rome until now has bear, including all the current ones. The animal symbol for Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is the eagle, and now we know why. That was a big belief among the Edomites, that the eagles carried your souls into the anyone could AI that right now as I'm speaking, and I'm sure to pop up. All right, they carry your souls into the afterlife. This is what they believe. So now let's show you those receipts so you can screenshot them. And this was from yesterday. All right. You see the whole question. All right. When it says Selah in Obadiah, I mean in the Confederacy in what do you call it? Psalms 83. Okay. When exactly was Mount Seir's name changed to Petra? And there it is. The Greek name Petra. Okay. This proves 144% that Mount Seir is the home, original home of Esau, a cave home of the Caucasus of Ka, all right, but Mount Seir was the original cave home of Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man. There it is, showing you their carved cities again, all right. And this was the AI's information letting you know. Okay, as a matter of fact, I'm going to Google that right now before we stop. Four eagles at Petra carried, hold on, I'm just going to say, souls afterlife question mark. All right, AI overview. Ooh-wee, and I'm gonna screenshot it because it related it to Petra about the four eagles being on the top of Petra. This one just said in Roman, it says the idea that four eagles carrying souls to the afterlife is not widely known a central tenet of a single tradition, but the elements of it appear in different cultural beliefs, primarily related to the symbolism of eagles in a number of mythology and religion. For example, the Roman tradition involved a single eagle carrying an emperor's soul to the heavens, while some native beliefs seeing eagles as guiding spirits, and biblical references feature eagle as a symbolic number of 4. And there are 4 eagles at the top of the entrance of Mount Petra right here. You can't get around it, man. Here it is. I Googled it, right? It's connected to the Roman Empire. There's no getting around it, man. All right? So Esau, Edom is the so-called white man, and this is their home. And those are the people that are sitting in the Holy Land right now, claiming to be the people of the Lord. So I'm going to give all praises, all honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah HaKodash, Kwam Yasharala, Abad Babal.